Even while we were aware that Mendeecees had experienced some drama, we never imagined that Jasmine Bleu would be out here lying through her teeth and that we would eventually get the receipts to prove it. What happens if your lies are discovered? That is the question I wish to pose to you. After spending so much time in these Mendeecees, what happened? Was she truly under the impression that we wouldn't figure it out? Even you can no longer discern what is true, as Jasmine will discover the hard way. Let's say her little fairy tale, because the internet never forgets, is failing rapidly with DMS's confidential phone calls and a lot of tea that will startle everyone. Watch out for more drama than a reality TV season finale as we talk about Jasmine's tangled web of lies. Oh Yandy, she's really holding back this time. You won't believe what she had to say. Let's now examine the shocking reality that lies underneath Jasmine's deceptions. The drama between Jasmine and I reached a new level of duplicity and trust just when we thought it could get any messier. Be patient, as this tea is about to heat up. I find the fact that Jasmine Bleu has become trapped in a web of lies to be absurd. However, the real question is why she lied and what Yandy Smith has to do with it. This time, the receipts are undeniable. We all know Enz Harris, the hip-hop mogul reality TV star, so let's take a moment to review. What I'm about to say will have you wondering about everything. Let's be honest, a man whose name is widely associated with drama has had a life filled with headlines, from his tumultuous romance with Yandy Smith to his prior legal troubles. We have Jasmine Bleu, a woman who sprang out of nowhere and shocked the internet with her accusations, bombs, and now a web of falsehoods that is exposing everything. Let's not forget the social upheaval that ensued after Jasmine made some surprising claims regarding Mendeecees, which gave the impression of a secret romantic betrayal. The media published a great deal about Jasmine because they were so enamored with her and believed everything she said. But then things began to go wrong. Statements began to contradict one another, and the story suddenly lost its credibility. It gets extremely weird at this point, as people started looking into the timeline. Yes, it looked shaky, but trust me when I say that when the internet starts to look into things, you can be sure that the truth will come out. Jasmine claimed that she and Enz had been secretly involved for years, and she talked about expensive gifts, extravagant vacations, and private moments that supposedly happened behind closed doors. Now, people who know me have come out to guess. We're talking about contradicting text messages, manipulated images, and even phony screenshots that she allegedly used to bolster her accusations. They're calling BS on Jasmine's entire account, saying that she was never that close to Enz and that she exaggerated their interactions. They're even lying outright about they and the supporting evidence. Oh, it's juicy. It becomes even more intriguing at this point, though. Be mean to Yandy Smith, you people. The radio silence this time suggests that there are rumors that Yandy knows Jasmine is lying, but she is keeping quiet because she doesn't want to add fuel to the fire by wasting energy on meaningless things. Usually, Yandy is the first to respond when drama breaks out. Some believe she's simply waiting for the right moment to make a big impression, but others disagree. Speaking of social media, this is being consumed by the internet. Twitter threads are scrutinizing every word on Jasmine's Instagram profiles, which are all dedicated to exposing the truth. Additionally, blogs are enjoying themselves immensely. There are even some supporters who think that Jasmine's claims are still accurate, but let me tell you something that even Wilder Jasmine might not have been. This is a battleground. You read correctly, working alone. Rumor has it that someone else has been pushing her to continue this act by giving her misleading information, instructing her, and even paying her to do so. The finger is being pointed at someone who is very close to Enz. Could it be an ex, a former business associate, or a bitter relative? They want to get rid of him, and Jasmine might just be a prop in this whole complex game. Let's discuss these so-called receipts now. Jasmine promised to provide evidence that Mendeecees was in love with her, but guess what? After examining those texts, experts conclude that Photoshop is a fantastic tool. Since Camp says they never happened, the walls are closing in on Jasmine. The messages appear to have been altered, with new typefaces, mismatched timestamps, and of course, Enz. Not to mention that alleged phone conversation where Mendeecees allegedly declared his love for her was exposed. Because, wait a minute, audio experts claim that the call sounds altered. Is it possible that this was compiled from numerous talks and modified to fit a narrative? Enz is most likely keeping things cool when all of this is going on. He has been criticizing Jasmine in cryptic texts, but he hasn't yet addressed her lies directly. You see, he's letting the facts speak for themselves since Jasmine's credibility is now in shambles and her entire tale is falling apart faster than she can keep up. The surprising statement made by her old friend recently is what really got folks to notice her. It appears that Jasmine told her in private that she had fabricated some parts of her story to make it look more credible. This buddy has screenshots of chats and receipts that revealed Jasmine admitting to embellishing her story to get more attention. It's awful, but what will come next? Will she come clean before the internet turns against her fully, or will she try to keep up the front and double down? Her reputation is in serious danger at this point, and let's not forget that Andy and I are simply allowing her to dig her own grave. Nevertheless, I know that you are all anxious to hear what happens next because, trust me, this issue is far from resolved. You'll be shocked to see how far Jasmine went to keep up this lie. We're talking fake photos, funny documents, and even some questionable actions that might get her in hot water. It's going to get stranger yet. Having serious legal issues, but don't worry, we'll explain everything. It will get even more intense in part 2, so stay tuned. And just when we believed that this drama could not get any more dramatic, wilder, everyone was surprised by the unexpected turn of events. At the moment, the tea is hotter than ever and the social media streets are in ruins. Keep your masks on because this controversy is unraveling faster than a reality TV reunion fight if you thought that Jasmine Blue's expose was the end of the world. Let's begin now and remember how Jasmine was out here catching up. In a variety of contradictions, but it went further than that. Even more information about her was discovered as soon as the first bomb went off, and let's just say that it seems to be very nasty. The receipts, voice notes, screenshots, and all are publicly accessible, and it appears that Jasmine has been disseminating an entirely different narrative behind closed doors. Given that Mendeecees has been largely mute about this catastrophe up to this point, things get increasingly stranger. Investigators on the internet have been working nonstop and haven't overlooked anything. Mendeecees seems to be claiming that Jasmine was never the innocent party when he reached his breaking point, and I can assure you that this man didn't hold back and let it all out. He asserts that she has been acting like a manipulator the entire time, despite her best efforts, which is why she is now lashing out over her little game. Became uncovered, and she was seen sliding. Let's travel back in time and look over the chronology now. Remember the beginning of this whole thing. When the receipts started to come in, Jasmine seemed suspicious, and it turned out that she might have been projecting. It's funny how the person making the accusations always ends up having the most to hide, and let's not forget about Yandy. Jasmine made these shocking accusations, giving the impression that Mendeecees was hiding some dark secrets. Any possibility that Yandy and Jasmine will ever get along again has formally departed the building, according to insiders who are now positive that Jasmine had been conspiring. From the start, and is she responsible for anything? Imagine Yandy no longer being courteous after learning that someone you once trusted was plotting your demise and behaved like a snake. Snakes, let's talk about how Jasmine is losing support from her own group. It appears that some members of Jasmine's camp have come forward with some startling disclosures, but you know, when people realize they've been tricked, they don't just sit there and remain silent. They start talking. Apparently well aware that her story was at best shaky, Jasmine continued to believe she could control the conversation. She genuinely thought she could control the internet, but she was wrong about how far people were ready to go. But wait, things get worse. There are rumors that Jasmine may have prepared a backup plan in case her vision didn't pan out. The street claims that she was going to provide more evidence to dispel criticism, but before she could do so, a member of her own group betrayed her. As a result, the story has gone uncontrollably. The internet has officially turned against her, and the damage management is currently appearing to be very poor. Now the question is what will happen next, because Jasmine seems to be in a difficult place with little options given the public they're witnessing and the fact that Mendeecees and Yandy aren't playing into her pranks longer. Even some of the biggest gossip websites who initially made reference to Jasmine are now taking back their statements following the A-state, acknowledging that they might have been given a shoddy platter of false information. Speaking of falsehoods, let's talk about Jasmine's handling of everything because she is hastily changing her direction after making audacious claims and putting her charges on the defensive, arguing that she was misunderstood. Oh, how misunderstood Jasmine was because it was clear from those first words that you intended everyone to think a certain way. Oh, that's not what I meant, girl, please, is the new phrase for Mendeecees, with the roles now reversed. The fact that some people are still out despite everything is even more funny. As though it makes sense, you're defending her here. Why are you still writing for someone who was found to have lied? It's becoming so absurd that they're acting like a victim, and you have to admit that the person you're writing for might not be the one. Furthermore, because of whispers, this scenario could not even be completed yet. That things are going to change drastically once more. Legal threats, a decline in receipts, and, if that happens, perhaps a full-fledged public statement from Mendeecees and Baby are what I mean. It's over for Jasmine because, when it comes to Mendeecees, he waits until everything is in order before acting. Therefore, if he's getting ready to speak out again, you can be certain that he has something significant up his sleeve. Finally, this drama is getting more intricate by the day, and we're not done yet. Get your popcorn ready because the big ending is almost here. Part 3 will get much more exciting. I can assure you that you won't want to miss this next. You thought this story could get any wilder, but then another level of insanity emerged. Exposing Jasmine Blue's web of lies have the internet in a frenzy, but guess who isn't saying anything? Smith Yandy. Oh, she won't let this go, and as you already know, she doesn't hold back when she speaks. Yandy turned to social media as the world continued to scrutinize Jasmine's most recent behavior, and I can promise you that she wasn't holding back. Since Mendeecees was involved in this issue, you would think that he would be the one to do it, but the camera showed her on a mission, and she was enraged and prepared to bring everyone along with her. Leading the charge, but no, Yandy had everything under control. Her life started in a memorable manner before she broke a record and departed. I can't sit back and let these lies continue to spread, so I've been silent long enough, but you guys need to hear the truth. At that point, the entire internet held its breath, wondering if she would divulge something important and additional receipts. Call out, Jasmine. Let's just say that people were shocked by what happened next because Yandy didn't just call out Jasmine. Oh no, she went straight for her credibility and started listing all the times that Jasmine had been caught in contradictions, pointing out that this wasn't the first time she had done so. To exacerbate the situation, she snapped screenshots. We're not entirely sure who was providing Yandy with this information, but CIS was prepared. So she started searching through her phone, checking timestamps, texts, and other information. You assumed they were trying to disclose one of the biggest bombshells, their own FBI files, because people were typing so fast in the comment section when those screenshots emerged. Yandy actually showed texts from months earlier in which Jasmine was begging for help. It's true what you read. Jasmine Bleu was trying to get attention by getting involved in the argument. She has been planning to have the girl ban her because the comments section was so harsh, and she even hinted that she would be willing to say anything to get some attention. Since she's done it, Yandy is dropping receipts like a grocery store clerk, and I'm all for it. I knew straight immediately that something was wrong with her. All of a sudden, Jasmine Blue's reputation suffered. Major nosedive. In just one day, she was being unfollowed, dragged, and demanded to be taken down. Don't give up though, because exactly when you believe things might improve, they did. With yet another twist in the story, Jasmine's predicament could not be worse. Remember the silence Mendeecees had maintained throughout? Guess what? He actually had his own receipts. Later that night, Mendeecees posted a weird story on Instagram with no caption, just a screen snap of a few texts. And B, it turns out that he was holding onto something important. Why was the internet going crazy over it? People swooped down. He looked at each word to see what it meant, and then he suddenly declared something. To put it mildly, Mendeecees' outspoken declaration that he is done with the lies, which confirmed that Jasmine has been lying for months and that he had proof that she has been doing so, left Jasmine unprepared for what came next. Out of consideration for his family, he has been keeping some things hidden. Spreading misleading information on blogs, turning the comment section into a battlefield where people were trying to piece everything together like detectives. As if that weren't enough, Yandy went back to offering yet another startling revelation, implying that Jasmine had been caught acting in this way with another celebrity in the past but was able to ignore it. Jasmine Bleu tried to mend the damage at this point by composing a note outlining how people were misinterpreting her and taking things out of context, but nobody replied. A house of cards was falling apart, and so was the story. Was purchasing it? She removed her Instagram comments by the next morning, and there were whispers that Brands was secretly splitting with her. After the settling boom, though, there's more drama since someone, likely an old friend of Jasmine's, chosen to disclose some old DMS, which showed that she had been preparing this for some time. To put it mildly, she didn't look well in those DMS. In one of their many awkward plans, Jasmine discussed stirring up problems and stoking controversy to attract attention. Said that this drama is devoured by people and that I just need to leave a few hints, with the bloggers handling the rest. If I understand correctly, you're telling me that she now views the entire affair as a game. People were dragging her about, her hashtags were going viral, and some even called for her to be officially placed on the industry's blacklist. The lesson of the story was that, while Mendeecees was occupied with seeing Jasmine Bleu's empire of lies fall apart before her very eyes, Yandy was thriving and getting credit for standing her ground. Will Jasmine Bleu make another attempt, or is this the end of her career? Jasmine Bleu just took home the greatest 2025 loss, but you get dumb prizes when you play dumb games. To recoup in the event that Yandy and his launch a lawsuit, and more importantly, who will be the next to be exposed, kindly hit the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment. Just so you know, folks, this tea is far from finished. The internet will always remember the power, lies, and dishonesty, even though Jasmine Bleu thought she could win the game. The true question is, what do you do next? Will you keep quiet and hope that no one notices? Due to the fact that everything collapsed faster than she could remove her Instagram remarks? Or is she already getting ready for her next awkward move? Mendeecees and Yandy Smith, what about them? Should they make more receipts public or go to court? Whether you think Jasmine is done for good or whether a resurgence is possible, please let me know in the comments section. I can assure you that we have even more mess if you thought this tea was a trick. Getting close to you, so make sure to enjoy this video, subscribe to the channel, and since there is constantly drama on these streets, turn on those notifications. Be careful, be mindful, and I'll see you later. In the next one, you all.